Hi, this is Nathan Basil, a.k.a. Leslie Vernon, and you're listening to The Timo and Harley Show.
Welcome to The Timo and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Timo and Harley Show. I am Timo. Over there is my partner in mind crime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben, 2020 hindsight, Harley.
Poor 2020.
Poor hindsight.
It was, poor hindsight, too. What 2020 do to anybody? But, what an awful year.
Oh.
Yeah. Get out of here.
Yes. Mr. Ben Harley, speaking of hindsight being 2020, it's a sad day for the lovely Angio, Mr. Ben Harley. It's a sad day. This is the anniversary of the biggest mistake she ever made in her life.
Her 19-year mistake.
Yeah, so far.
Her 19-year prison sentence.
Yes, and counting.
Yes.
So it is, yes, it's our wedding anniversary. So poor thing.
Happy anniversary.
Well, thank you.
Sorry, Angie. Condolences.
Yeah. I'm whistling. I'm going, woohoo, yeah. She's like, oh, for the love of all, it's holy.
I'm proud of you, Tim. Yeah.
right. So, Mr. Ben Harley. And you know what we're going to do for our anniversary? We're going to watch movies.
Yes, right.
And guess what?
You're not going anywhere, are you?
Oh, hell no. No. And guess what we did on our way, just to kind of get practice for our anniversary.
Yeah.
We watched movies. So I'm going to jump in and talk about some of the movies that we watched this week, Mr. Ben Harley. So,
all right.
You doing okay in your world, by the way? Everything okay? Getting by?
We're getting better. Yeah.
How's your, let me ask you something. You're like, okay, so I'm an Illinois guy. You're an Ohio guy.
Yeah.
All right?
Yes, sir.
So and you're a screen printer, so you got your finger, Mr. Ben Harley, your weird little finger on the pulse of what's going on. Yeah. So are the sports teams, like the kids and stuff, are they starting to kind of show some life? Are you getting some orders?
Yeah, we actually got it's funny though, we're getting orders from like stuff that should have been done in the wintertime.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so at least now they're starting to come around. So the spring sports might start in the summer.
Gotcha.
And then the fall sports might start in the winter. I'm not really sure, but it's getting,
at least if they want shirts, that's how it's going to work, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't care when they start, as long as they start. That's,
right. Well, that's true.
I'm telling you, buddy. Oh my goodness.
They need it.
Yeah, and so do I.
Well, it's true too. You need the business, and they need the energy burn.
Exactly. And I was, because I've been belly aching for a little while, Tim, about it, but it's like, I feel bad for the kids too. They need to get out there and be able to, and experience and like, growing up, that was an important part of my life, playing some sports. And I can't say it's the most important thing for a kid, but it's good for them to get out there and exercise and learn a little team concept, right, Tim?
Right, exactly. Well, and I think it varies from kid to kid, whether or not, but to have the opportunity to do that, and is a big thing. So, well, hopefully the kids get to run off some energy, and you get to make Popeye arms with your squeegee by making T-shirts and screen printing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, very good, Mr. Ben Harley. So let's chat about some movies that watched this week. Again, preparing and practicing for the movies we're going to watch on our anniversary. Let's see here. From 1960, we watched the movie The Time Machine. Starring Rod Taylor.
Nice.
Who is a dead ringer for Bruce Campbell's dad. I will never forget our late great friend Danny Hicks. Hello, Danny.
Miss him.
Chair's right behind. He's there. Chair's right behind me. It has not moved. It has not. Well, I might have stood on it to fix my clock or something. I told him to scoot over. Get over. You've been here long enough.
I don't think you heard him any. Yeah.
Right. But he showed me a picture one time. He said, "Who's that?" I said, "Well, it's Rod Taylor." "Nice try, buddy." "Nope." I said, "Yes." He said, "Nope." I said, "Danny." who are you talking to? I'm like pointing my eyes, pointing at his eyes, like, who are you talking to here? That's Rod Taylor. He goes, nope, that's Bruce Campbell's dad. And I mean, there was this dead silence, just like that. I'm like, what? And I looked again, Harley. You couldn't convince me it wasn't Rod Taylor.
That's hilarious.
I don't care. I bet if there's a birthmark on his butt cheek, Bruce's dad has it too. I'm telling you right now, a dead ringer. So here's the other thing about the Time Machine. First of all, it's a fun movie, and I actually the monsters are hilarious in it. They're hairy fat guys with ugly faces, and
that's right.
I better watch how much I say that, because it is Mandy Angio's anniversary. I'll just remind her of that if I say
she's like, oh god,
hairy guys with ugly faces. So
speaking of,
right. What's fun about it, though, is that Rod Taylor beginning is talking to all of his, his society friends, in London or whatever, and one of those people just happens to be our guy Whit Bissell.
Whit Bissell.
God, another Whit Bissell movie.
Whit Bissell. A little bit of a freak out.
That's right. That's a good freak out.
Back in
like the 1960s, a Whit Bissell freak out was hitting the on button on your TV.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Moving on, Mr. Ben Harley. Two more. Just quickly want to mention. First up, let's see, from 1980. Watch the movie The Changeling.
Ah, okay. Yeah, we've reviewed that too, didn't we?
Yes, we have. That's one of my favorite ghost movies of all time.
Yes, that's a good one. That is a good one.
Right. I don't know what else to say except for this is not going to make people happy who want a bloodbath.
No.
To watch.
No.
But if you want a spooky ghost mystery, this thing is it. I mean, it's very subtle too. Yeah. And I really like that. And the mystery of it is compelling, but becomes so heart-wrenching in a universal way that it still holds up very well. And the other fun part of this is we're at that last spurt of Melvin Douglas's career when he did like this. He did The Changeling. He did Being There, Ghost Story. Had a real good, a real good, nice end to his career too. And it's so weird that we just recently watched The Old Dark House, and Melvin Douglas is the Harold Hansen Pants in that movie. And now we're watching The Changeling, and he is the old senator. He's on his last leg in that movie. And but is a tremendous actor, to begin with. But George C. Scott himself is just wonderful, also. So it's such a great movie, and it's funny because I let Chance watch it. And it's interesting to see what kids think about these old movies that scare the hell out of us,
Yeah, right.
Well, everybody who remembers the Changeling TV ads and stuff from 1980, which are basically me and no one else. But the ads really keyed in on that wheelchair, that little kid's wheelchair in that movie.
Yeah.
And how it kind of would chase the lady around and stuff. And they hit on that in the trailer. And if any kid in 1980 could sleep a wink after watching that trailer in 1980, sorry, but Chance said he thought it was funny. He liked the movie. Really? He really liked the movie, but he thought that part was funny. And I told Angie, I was like, well, maybe he thought it was funny because it was scary, and then he laughed at it. And I realized what he was looking at, and stuff. But back then, you were just scared.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And it wasn't much fun about that. Yeah.
No, and let's be frank. In 1980. Special needs people who are in wheelchairs, which both of us have, were not exactly as, I don't want to say talked about. That's really not fair, and I don't want to blame anybody. But they really weren't as visible in public as they seem to be today. Now, today we're all more visible because of social media, which is for better or for not, and it's both. We do see this more. We see Ruby more on Facebook, let's say, or Corey has his own page, and God knows what he's doing with that thing. Eccentric, the most eccentric kid of all time. But anyway, so he's got that, and stuff. So wheelchairs were a spooky thing to begin with.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
So it struck a chord back then.
Definitely, and and I liked back then too, like the ghost type movies for me were super scary. They were because we really didn't know. I mean, come on now. We still don't know a whole lot about it, but we know a lot more, especially since, all the Ghost Hunter TV shows and all these other things. But the ghost ones were scary to me. The ghost ones, and then your satanic type one. You know what I mean? Were pretty scary because it was that fear of the unknown a little bit too. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Tim, I don't really ever want to see a ghost, Tim. I would,
or
as
smell
much as
one or sense one or anything.
Right? No, Tim. And I've had some experiences, but like if I was to walk into a room and I saw a specter walk past me or something, I might go poo poo in my pants, and I might be a little, yeah. Oh, whoops, sorry about that. But
there it is.
I mean, that stuff always to me was just that little extra added unknown that was really made them a little bit more frightening. Like you mentioned with Ghost Story, I always liked that one. I always thought it was a good story too, and almost like a revenge story too.
Right.
And like, oh my God, these ghosts are vengeful too. Like, oh God, just good stuff though. You know what I mean? I think
stuff.
that time period too, the 70s, 80s, like early 80s was really a good. Well, no, there was better ones too earlier, but I mean, when you and I were growing up, those were just staples,
Right. Well, it's a product of our age.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a phone. Me and Harley were talking before we started doing the show. I got a call from my good buddy Jerry from Synopsis, and he was listening to the show. And he's mad at me because he can't stand the fog. Well, he didn't realize that he's, I think, a couple more years older than me than he thought he was.
Yeah.
Because I told Jerry, I said, you got to understand, I was 7 years old when that came out. And he went, no, I'm sorry. Like, he knew immediately what I meant. Like, he has those movies too. Because he's about 10 years older. And I think he thought there was like a 5-year difference. I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal, but enough to where I was a little kid.
He thought you looked older than you are.
Which was cool when I was 17 and get served alcohol. But it's not cool when you're close to 50, so.
Yeah, they think you're 85.
Yeah, right.
What?
But, so he got that too. But, so there is a bit of that. But I also think that movies, I think in the 70s, even before, like I'm talking about The Exorcist, I'll put Rosemary's Baby in there, even though I hate it. I hate that movie, but they sort of became more sophisticated, and they became a little bit more like a little less goofy, and maybe
like Poltergeist.
Absolutely,
is pretty good.
Absolutely, yeah. That's another good one.
That had some terrifying scenes and stuff. And even for the age I was when it came out, freaked me out. I'm like, but
yeah.
And I think you're right. I think they did get a little more sophisticated, a little scarier maybe too. But
right.
But
they always
good.
do. They, I mean, according, yes, but I think they're scared. They are scarier because envelopes keep getting pushed as time goes on. It's amazing how people find envelopes where they didn't even belong before. They start pushing them, and then the envelopes of yesterday are the nerdy stuff of today. Like that were pushed. So it's fun to. It's not always fun, but it's at least fascinating to see. That kind of thing. But I think that they get scarier because we were kids, so we were kids at that point, so they really scared us, and the older movies scared us, but not as bad as those newer ones that were really honing in. I think we identify with them more when we're little kids when they're newer films, and we as adults we're identifying with the movies we watched when we were kids.
That sounds good. I'll go along with that for sure.
Because I don't really find movies very scary at all anymore, but other people do.
Some of them here and there, but a lot of times this might be a movie I haven't never seen. That's an older film that might. A lot of times for me, especially with the ghost type stories, if it gives me a shiver down my spine, I'm like, kudos. I'm like, oh wow, that was good. That was cool, or because now there are some movies that still scare me, but like. I just think like with the ghost stories, like the unseen hand type thing, it's just to me is scary. It scares me even when I'm not watching a movie. If I come home and I'm like, I hope I'm here by myself, like what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, but it's just that I think those type of movies they're just fun.
Right. There's a couple things. I think that the older movies were a little bit more keyed in on entertaining. The movies have gotten pretty preachy.
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
I don't really care what they're preaching. I just kind of want to be more entertained. Like
Yes.
so there's that, but there's also the techniques that I've talked about. I don't like how
Yeah.
video has changed the lighting. I don't like how video has changed the feel of films. And the other thing is, like, I feel like they're cutting story to set up the scares longer. So you might have 5 minutes leading up to a scare. And that 5 minutes can be pretty boring sometimes. Now, if you're a kid watching it and your chips are in, that 5 minutes might be excruciating for you.
Sure.
So I think might be part of why maybe someone younger would think movies are scarier today. And there's not enough setup in older films. I'm guessing here. I don't know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. But that sounds about right. But I mean,
so
I mean,
it might have as much to do with us as it does with the movies, is what I'm saying.
True. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Exactly. And that's okay too. And I hate to be like that and poo-poo too much of the newer stuff, because there's a generation of kids that are going to grow up and be horror fans like you and I have been for most of our life, and I don't want to poo-poo on them either. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would love to see a lot of them be able to go back and watch older films and still appreciate them, though, because like we do,
right.
I do. I appreciate the older films, especially the older I get. I appreciate the pace of them and also like the payoff.
Right.
A lot of times it's good. You might have to wait a little bit longer for the payoff, but it's worth it in the end,
Sure. I agree with what you're saying there. I think I probably have been a little tough on modern audiences and stuff because I really want to trust that some of these people, these kids, younger kids today, and I do talk about this. It sounds like just lip service, but I mean it. And you know me well enough to know that this is important. I mean it. I don't want to think that there won't be someone who takes my place. As far as like curating a library of classic films. I don't care about the news. I have some new movies, but it's not part of my library. Like my library to me is complete when the films from basically the year 2000 back. That's what I'm concerned about. That's what I want to have those. And it's nothing against movies after, but that's not
because there's ones that we like. There's ones we like Behind the Mask and
Tuckerdale.
The
Troll Hunter's great.
Troll Hunter's good. What's the one that I like, Tim? The Bigfoot.
Exists.
I love
good.
Exists. Yeah. Oh my God, I love. And I can imagine not seeing that film to me, or Behind the Mask, or or Tuckerdale. So there are some gems out there. There are, but
I'm not a completist though.
No,
with those,
Poor Tim. You had to sit and listen to me. I know this is a little bit off the reservation, but this will prove my point. Is they don't make movies the way they used to make movies. Now, you had to sit and listen to me complain the other night about Coming to America Part 2.
Oh, I finally just said, do you like it?
God, Tim,
you were mad about it. You didn't like it.
I don't think you've heard me that mad in a long time.
You didn't like it.
Oh, I was so excited about that coming out. And I'm like, oh my God, it's on Prime Video. And I was so excited until I started watching it. And it is god awful. And I'm mad at Eddie Murphy. I am mad at Eddie.
No.
Because I really thought they were going to, okay, cool. Because I think Coming to America, the original, is a funny movie.
Right.
There are so many good one-liners, and it's a good movie. It's funny. It's not too preachy or preachy at all. Now, I'm going to tell you, Tim, I hate to put it on you, but you should watch that. And I know you know the difference between... today's movies and older movies, but it is such a stark reminder to me of that movies they're not what they used to be. They're not, they're mostly preachy. They don't, and it's just like, I don't want to be preached to. I want to escape. That's why I'm watching this movie. I want to escape and enjoy this and enjoy my time.
Right.
And it's just not like that anymore. Buddy.
Well, you don't want to laugh at the expense of someone who may disagree with you about something important.
Yeah, right.
And that I think that's the folly of a lot. But that's the times we live in. And so that's, again, it's like, so I have the opportunity not to hit play, and go back and watch something that didn't do that to people. No matter what you think, and so I like to watch movies where you can sit down with a lot of people, and if you're uncomfortable, it's because of the direct content in it. You know, it's because someone got their arm ripped off or something.
Right,
or someone died who wasn't supposed to die, or you didn't think, you know, stuff like that. Not because they're making you uncomfortable for who you are or something like that, you know, things like that. But I do agree with that in a way too. But you know, it's another thing where I don't watch a lot of new movies for the simple fact is that it's clear to me at this point they're not being made for me.
No,
and I'm instead of like complaining, and I'm not downing you for complaining about that. I'm just saying, like, for me, instead of like letting it upset me, I put it that way. Instead of letting myself get upset, I'll watch The Changeling.
Yeah,
You know?
Well, that's the thing. I'd rather go back and watch it. I just watched Coming to America, the original one, recently. I had a ball. Oh my God, I was printing and I was laughing and having a good time, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait because the one scene's coming up. I love this scene. This movie, I couldn't wait for it to get over. I was like, this is absolutely awful. It didn't make me laugh. I think I snickered once, it may be, but other than that, it's not even funny. And it's like,
it doesn't look funny to me.
Oh,
like it looks like a movie with good people in it, and it looks like a movie that was made competently, but it doesn't even look interesting to me. But you have to understand.
It's not good.
Right. Amazon comes out with a lot of original movies, and I've seen like maybe a half dozen tops in all the years I've been doing it, and I can't think of one that I actually have really liked at all. And it's not I don't know. But I do try them every now and then. It doesn't matter. You know, the thing is, like I said, but again, I just say I ain't worried about it. They're not for me.
Right,
you know, and they're for a newer audience. But the thing is, too, it's like, but you're not really making them for a movie audience.
No.
You know, but movies are dead. I mean, movies are completely dead. If COVID did anything, it completely wiped out cinema, I think.
Yeah.
I really do.
Oh, it did. I do, too. And now I'm really looking forward to, in a way, there's very few movies that come out anymore that I really look forward to. It might be a Batman movie or something like that here and there. But now I'm really excited about Godzilla vs. King Kong. Now, I do believe it's in the theaters now.
Oh, really?
I might try to go. I think so, yes. So
wow. Okay.
I might go try to watch that because I want to see it on the big screen. Now, I know I'm going to probably come out of there kicking rocks because I'm going to be mad about something. But, you know, it's like I do want to see that. I really do. You know, I know I'm going to be pissed because of the whole... I'm still mad about the original King Kong versus Godzilla, Tim. I never got over that. So.
I'm not over the way they made him look. You know? You're mad about the guy. Nobody won that fight. I mean, you know.
No, I know. So, like, oh, my goodness. But I'm actually kind of excited. But then again, you know, it's like, I don't know. I do love the theater experience, Tim. I do. I have. It's one of my favorite things to do of all time is to go to a movie theater and get my popcorn and my sweet tarts or whatever and sit there with my greasy hands, you know, because I got double, you know, give me, they ask you how much butter you want. I said, I want the heart attack version. Just get it in there. You know what I mean? Just load it up. You know what I mean?
I want the clogged artery special.
Yeah, I want to come out of here holding my chest heaving. You know what I mean? When I'm done. But but you know, like anymore, it's not the same to me. It's not as far as like cinema and coming out of a theater going, oh my God, that was great. Most times I'm coming out going, okay, well,
you know what's so
where's
funny?
My car?
Yeah, I mean,
where's my car? Like,
it's so weird that I don't like theater, and it's so weird. I'm such a movie guy, you know. But the thing is that it had been so long. We are going on getting close to a long time since I've been to it. It's been well over a decade. Well over a decade. Yeah. It's been 15 years plus since I've even been in a theater. And the thing is that I don't even know how to do it anymore. Right, I don't know how to buy a ticket to go to see a movie anymore. And I'm a little embarrassed by that because I used to walk up to a window and say, I want to watch Poltergeist.
Yeah.
And they would give you a little chirpy little ticket, and you'd walk in and some guy would tear it in half. You'd be like, well, why did you give it to me if you're just going to tear this thing in half?
Right, yeah.
And then you walk in, you buy whatever you want to buy, you go in, you sit there, and then you get cold because they're always cold inside there. And then you wait for the movie and all that stuff. And,
in the summers. Oh.
And it was really easy. It was really easy peasy. You just kind of like walked in and just sat down, basically. Yeah. Well, now people have apps and they're buying like certain times and certain seats and there's like couches and there's and I'm like, look, you have completely pushed me out of the theater experience. Like, I don't even understand it anymore, so I just stay away. I'm being really honest with you. A lot of it has to do with the fact I don't even know how to buy a ticket for it anymore.
Well, no, anymore. Like, so now a lot of it, there's assigned seating and stuff, and you're like, oh, geez, well, where do you want to sit? Well, I want to go in and see where I want to sit first. That's what I want to do. You know, like, it has changed so much. Or now, a lot of times you get on your app or you walk in, you put your phone, or there's a little kiosk there that you can get your ticket there or whatever, That's
just so weird to me. Yeah. And then what do people do? Like, I mean, it's gotta be a nightmare in those theaters with people's phones.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad. Most people, but you usually get one or two.
It only takes one
or something. Yeah, exactly. But like, I've really only been, I might go once a year anymore, really, and I'm kind of excited because Sydney's getting to the age where I want to start taking her to movies, you know what I mean? And let her experience it. But I'm not sure she'll want to sit still that long, or she won't, talk.
Either one of you guys might not sit still that long. What are you
I have a hard
about?
time sitting still. Yeah.
So say, sit still, Daddy. Sit still.
Yeah, sit still. What are you doing?
Well, I mean, like, and that's the other thing too. It's like, and I've told you this too. This is one of my neat little taglines I use a lot too.
Yeah.
I do not like going places where I have to depend upon the courtesy of others for my enjoyment. So
no, that's hard, and
I don't just want to do it. Like you think if you go to the drive-in, you're safe, right? Last time I went to the drive-in, there was a guy who sat in the back of his pickup, and I mean, this is one of those pickup trucks that. I mean, it was like its own monument. It was a giant pickup truck.
Yeah.
And the thing is that he was sitting in the back of the pickup with a local rock and roll radio station blaring through the entire event, through the entire movie.
Well, yeah,
it's like, dude. And then I'm thinking, so he finally turns it off, and what does he do? Well, he cranks up the audio for the movie.
Yeah.
You think that's fine, right? That's okay. The problem is he was on the other screen.
Oh, geez.
So
my God.
I couldn't hear what my movie was, but his movie, which was an explosion movie, and his subs in his truck are rattling the ground. I'm like, dude, turn your shit. Can you not see people turning around looking at you?
Yeah.
You don't care. You don't care.
No,
and I paid
so
money, too, to come here to enjoy a movie. And I don't mind if you park next to somebody and the kids are running around and stuff like that, that's one thing. I mean, it is what it is. But you can, if you're a solitary adult, this guy had nobody with him. There was nobody. Wow. I mean, and hey, you know what?
Now you know why.
Yeah. Now you know why that asshole didn't have a woman coming with him to the theater because he's a jerk that does that kind of stuff, and nobody wants to be seen with him.
Yeah, she doesn't want to get the steely eyes.
But guess what? It didn't stop his dumb ass from coming to the drive-in and ruining my experience. And so it's. Well,
no, I feel you there, but because I'm awful when it comes to going. When I go to the theater, I don't. I'm like, I'm not sitting over here. I don't want people sitting around me.
Right.
I don't like people sitting behind me too much because you always get that dummy who just puts his feet up on the chair. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm 2 seats in front of you or a seat in front of you, but 2 down. And you just put your dirty old feet up on, like, right in my face. I'm like, and I don't, that stuff. Yeah. So that experience does blow for me.
Right,
I don't like that part of it for sure.
Well, real quick, Mr. Ben Harley, we need to get to our official film here. Not to cut you off, but
that's
I wanted to mention this one last thing before we get to it here. Another movie, and I don't want to belabor it too long here, but from 2017, actually. Now, this is a movie that is on Amazon Prime. Okay. And I was clued into it by our pal Mark Sova from Snake Ranch and Bent.
Yeah. He's a Bigfoot guy.
He is a Bigfoot guy, and this movie actually is a Bigfoot movie. And it is called Journey to the Forbidden Valley. Okay. It is a Chinese production, so it has Australian people in it, I think American and Chinese people in it. And in China, it's basically people trying to find the Yeren is what it is. And it is I don't want to call it a rated G, but let's call it a rated PG-13 Bigfoot movie where it's sort of a kid's movie that doesn't insult the intelligence of kids. So it's a little violent. People actually die, things like that. But the Bigfoot isn't the bad guy. There's a hunter or like a guy out to exploit the Yeren, the Bigfoot or whatever.
Okay.
And so he's kind of the bad guy. So we've seen this kind of story before, but that's what kind of movie it is. But Chris Walas, who is a legendary effects guy, created the Yeren, created the Bigfoot creature. And it is very good because it is Chris Walas and he's a master at what he does. It does still show you that you can tell it's a hairy body. You know what I mean? The face is good and stuff. But I think part of it is that we are losing cameramen who understood how to shoot practical effects.
Yes,
they understood not to have the harsh lighting and hang on it like Bog.
Right.
They understood. They understood to kind of edit and get tight on that thing and accentuate the really compelling parts of the costume and not allow it to be seen to where it can be harshly criticized too hard, for too long.
Okay.
But that being said, I would say that the makeup and it's up there with the Harry and the Hendersons. Type of thing. So it's done very well, and it's not a bad movie. It's okay. Just wanted to mention it because it is a Bigfoot movie that is at least watchable.
Okay.
It's not awful. It's not an asylum movie. It's not CG. You know what I mean? It's more of
because there's a lot of them out there that I don't really want to take the time to watch them. Mm-hmm. So that's good to hear. Because I need a newer one to watch.
Well, and if you're looking for a movie that's going to push forward the Bigfoot mythos and stuff, this is not it. This is an action film. Okay, it's not. It's sort of it's more of an action thriller kind of movie. But it's also not the kind of movie where the Bigfoot, it's not a horror movie at all. Like, Bigfoot is not a horror thing. Yeah. He's not the bad guy, but what's cool about it, and the reason I even wanted to mention it, is that he's also not some big teddy bear.
Okay.
If you're trying to kill him, he's an animal.
Okay.
So I'll leave it there.
All right, good.
Anyway, again, Journey to the Forbidden Valley. It is on Amazon Prime. Yes. So
maybe I'll watch that today. I got to do some printing.
That's a good one to watch for your printing.
Yeah.
Let's get to our official film, Mr. Ben Harley.
All right, Timo, let's do that, buddy.
From 1935.
35, isn't that crazy?
It is. We have the movie The Black Room.
The Black Room, and it looks pretty good too, actually. 35.
Did you rent this on Amazon?
Yes.
Streaming?
Yeah.
The high def?
Yeah. Yeah, it looked good.
It does look good. Yeah. It's a real good transfer, real good print. Okay. Yeah. All right, I think that came from the negative, so that's why it looks so good. It's a real good scan of that. So
I mean, it looks good.
Yes,
good.
Yep. Let's see here. Let me get out Movie Guy and give you a short storyline synopsis here for The Black Room.
Yeah.
Here we go. Ignoring an ancient prophecy, evil brother Gregor seeks to maintain his feudal power on his Tyrolean estate by murdering and impersonating his benevolent younger twin. Okay, so movie starts off. There is a baby being born.
A lot of people hanging around, too, for this birth. The whole town, I think, was there.
Right. Well, we do have kind of like the Lord of the... I don't understand. This is clearly like British hierarchy.
Yeah.
I don't understand the whole lord thing and all that.
No.
But let's just say these people are like lords. They're like kind of, they kind of rule their little mini kingdom around them or something. And there is a family who is the big guys, the guys that rule the roost or whatever. And so it opens up with a lot of people in this castle, and of all people, a guy walks out of a door and walks down some stairs in this castle, who I immediately said, those stairs are not code.
No.
They're concrete, like winding stairs with no rail or anything.
Right,
you fall, you're dead. It's over.
You're done. Yeah.
But actually, that is Edward Van Don't Call Me Halen Sloan.
Yeah.
Uncredited role. He played Van Helsing in the Bela Lugosi Dracula and a lot of those old Universal movies. So he's a doctor who just delivered twins. And he's telling the dad, let's drink to this. We have twins. And he's like, no.
No.
So what happens is this is fulfilling a bad prophecy where the family who rules this area, the prophecy is that it started with one brother killing another brother.
Yes.
And the family will rule, but it will end when there are twins born again, and one will kill the other.
Yeah.
So it's a neat little, like, kind of a prophecy curse type of deal. Well, these are twins that were born. So they know this ain't good. So then you get this little setup of the prophecy, right? And like the curse and things like that. And then we jump forward. And the twins are played by none other than Boris Karloff.
Boris Karloff.
Now,
and one happens to be has a bad arm.
Basically a dead arm. It's a numb. Yeah, it's paralyzed. A paralyzed arm,
which I found to be intriguing for the film. I did, and because that you really didn't have that back then either. They didn't really talk much like that about and then to have a main character, which I found a little fascinating and good.
Right, right, exactly. Part, so. It's also a very good way and a very interesting story tool to tell the two apart. And as the story goes on, it becomes even more important. But so what we have here is a good twin and a bad twin. And the story is kind of set up where the good twin, I think, kind of got tired of being home, and he went off on his own to live on. Now, the way this family was set up was that I believe the older brother was going to rule the roost no matter what. Okay?
Sure.
So the older brother, the older Boris Karloff, he's a jerk.
Yes.
Let Harley, come here a minute. Come here close to me real quick. All right.
Okay. All right.
Anybody listening?
Yeah.
He's a dick. All right, now let's get back to it. Okay, so so he is kind of ruling the roost. Now his brother comes back. I think he actually summons his brother back. Okay, now his brother comes back, and this is great storytelling. This whole thing. Okay, when we were talking about the movie The Awakening with Charlton Heston, I talked about how it was not linear, and they used flashbacks to show babies being born and who the hell is who, and they had to rely on old man makeup that didn't work.
Yeah.
This is a linear story told very well. Very well.
Yes. Yeah. So and very simply. It's not a lot of clutter at all.
It's a ton of drama, though, without a lot of clutter. This is very good storytelling. So we start off, there's twins. One of them's got a bad arm. And they give you the whole plot. They tell it to you directly. They say, well, this is a curse. This is what happens. Now, 20 years later.
This is what's going to happen.
Right. And you jump forward. So when Karloff, the good brother with the bad arm, when he comes back into town to go back home to visit brother, it is set up incredibly well and directly that everybody thinks the older brother who's been ruling the area is, come here, a dick.
Yeah, or a dickhead. Yeah.
He's a big, mean dick.
Yeah, because they don't like him. Like even they're in the bar or the tavern, and the guys are talking about him, like the townsfolk, and so you already know that they don't like him, and they want to off him. They're
thinking about offing the good brother just to make sure he doesn't. Nothing's left of him, right?
So when the good brother comes into the tavern, they're all like, "Wait, it's the Baron!" Like, no, that's not him. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. He had a brother, and then, so, but real simple.
Yeah, even when a kindly family friend is coming to pick up Karloff, to take, remember, Karloff is playing dual roles. He's playing the brother with the bad arm, who's a good brother, and he's playing the mean brother, who's been ruling the roost of the castle.
A dick.
So when he's a dick. So so Karloff comes back into town, and he's actually kind of surprised that his brother doesn't come to pick him up at the local bar or tavern or whatever, and stuff. So, but while he's going home in the carriage, in the horse-drawn carriage, there are bullets going through the windows. And they think because it's the mean Karloff's carriage who's picking up the nice one, everyone assumes it's the mean Karloff in the carriage. It's not.
Yes. No.
But so the guy's like, that was meant for your brother, and you see Karloff kind of look like, holy shit!
What did I come back to?
Right now, here's an issue. I'm going to get this right now because this is kind of being brought up. I do have an issue with this type of story, this type of character, and this trope is that Karloff, as much as you like his nice guy character, is so painfully naive.
Yes,
painfully naive. it's a yin and a yang. It's almost like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde story where Karloff is nothing but good and trusting.
Yeah.
And as the nice Karloff, the actual Anton is his name. The good brother is Anton. Yes, and Gregor is the mean one.
Gregor.
Yes. So Gregor is nothing but a dick. And Anton is nothing but, so there's a bit of being naive that is troublesome to me in these stories. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
Because it's like, oh, come on, Anton. Haven't you figured out yet? You're shooting at him.
Yeah.
At least question his veracity or something, So anyway, then when Karloff shows back up, Karloff goes, and then you get to see Karloff have wonderful scenes playing both roles with split screen.
Yeah. And they did it pretty well for the most part.
Absolutely.
I've always, from the dawn of time, since they've been doing twin type movies or stuff in television shows, I've always been like, all right, well, how are they going to set this up, like the scene? And I don't know why I'm fascinated by that, but I guess I am. But they did a pretty good job,
Yeah, the split screen.
With the double and the split screen, but you could tell there was a double, here and there. But they did it well. They shot it well.
They did it very well. It is really dependent upon the actor. And Karloff proves... you always hear the little side stories about Lugosi, making fun of Karloff. I could have done the monster. Well,
man, all of us.
Got some news for you, Bella. Watch this movie, baby. He could act. Yeah. This guy.
He's a great actor. Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yes, absolutely. So, the little part I forgot when we're talking about this. The movie is called The Black Room. Okay, so the prophecy, all this killing and stuff, is all supposed to take place in a torture chamber room, a black room they call it, in the castle.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So what happened was when the twins were born, somebody on site had heard the curse and said, well, I know how to fix this. Just seal up the room.
Yep. We'll just brick the brick the room up.
Absolutely. Brick the room up. They'll never know it's there. Well, Karloff, knowing the bad Karloff, Gregor, knowing this prophecy, is terrified of it, and it's making him even more evil and meany and everything. Yeah. Well, he finds a secret way to get to that room, even though it's been sealed off. So he's got time to prepare whatever he wants to prepare in that room, and nobody knows he's in there. Or dispose of whatever he wants to dispose of.
Yes.
And nobody knows. Right. So now we have all this. This is all set up. Fine and dandy. We have this great little lurid story being set up here. Yeah, and then you have a couple moments where the angry villagers, the town people, they start storming the castle basically, and they want to kill Karloff and this and that. And Karloff says, "Oh no! Gregor, the bad guy, the mean guy, says, listen. He goes, I know you all hate me. There's nothing I can do about it. So I'm going to make you all happy. I'm going to sign all my rights, everything over to my little brother. That's why I called him here."
Yeah.
That's why I called him here. Well, there's no chance, Mr. Ben Harley, that there's anything nefarious going on with that idea.
No.
They're twins. There's no way that,
and he acts pretty good, or Gregor acts really good towards Anton throughout it. So, so in a way, you kind of like, well, okay, well, he does care about him, maybe, or maybe because he is happy to see him. He's, they don't really have any bad words for each other. They never have an argument. There's some weird stuff that happens, which as Anton would have been like, what is going on here? Because they try to break in and kill Gregor at one point, right at the beginning, and I've been like, wait, what's you
might want to question more why your brother's trying to get murdered by the entire village is supposed to be ruined. I mean, it's not subtle. It's not every time they see a Karloff, they're like they're plotting to bash him over the head with something, or whatever.
Yeah, so exactly.
That's why I'm talking about that being naive. Yeah. It's like, come on, man, ask a question or something, figure something out, or whatever. Now, so we have this all set up, and there's something else afoot in the story that's on the side. There is a couple of ladies in this movie.
Yes.
Okay. There was one lady who I believe is, I think, is she sort of a maid or something for she's looming around the sides. Her name, she is Catherine Demille as Mashka. Yeah. Kind of an exotic, curvy, beautiful woman. It sounds like this.
Yeah.
Hello, baby. She's got a really, really deep husky voice, which is really jarring. Like, oh, come here, big boy.
Yeah. Plant one on me.
Well, I got to tell you what, she was married to Anthony Quinn.
Oh, really?
So you better have a husky voice and a big strong fist to punch him in the face when he's like crossing you good, because he ain't gonna listen to nothing else. And her name, the actress's name is Catherine Demille. So I can let you guess who her parents are.
Yeah,
Cecil B. DeMille. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now she was adopted. She was adopted by them, but so she was not their. But yes, that is their adopted daughter. And actually, here's a really strange and sad story about her. She was doing very well in her career and took a long hiatus because her son, who was 3 years old, drowned.
Oh, boy.
In W.C. Fields' pool.
Oh.
Yeah, when your parents are, when your dad is Cecil B. DeMille, I mean, you're going to be a W.C. Fields' pool probably. But yeah, so that was not good. And she played a lot of Hispanics, like Native Americans. She was actually, believe it or not, she was Italian, Swiss, and Scottish. Now that's dinner, dessert, and a nightcap.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. And she was just. I mean, me and Harley know each other's types pretty well. Harley probably felt bad for me when that's almost as bad as he feels for Angio today, it being her anniversary for making that bad mistake.
Oh, good Lord.
So that person has been kind of like the bad Karloff, Gregor. He's been secretly kind of like seeing her, you can tell.
Yes.
But since she's an exotic type, let's say, she has some sort of, she's not Lily White, let's put it that way.
Right.
Since she's not that, it's hush-hush, and he's royalty, so there's all that kind of stuff going on. But never fear, Mr. Ben Harley, there's another lady.
Ooh, oh yes, there is.
Marion Marsh is the actress playing Thea Hassel in this movie. She is in Svengali, starring John Barrymore, which we also have to review. We have not reviewed yet, but we're going to at some point here. She is a nice-looking woman.
Yes, she is very, almost like a porcelain beauty. Seriously, she is just like, she's very easy on the eyes, Tim. Very easy.
This is like, I mean,
both of them. Yeah.
I'm like turning around my wife talking about this stuff, going, geez, these women are uncanny. I mean, they're so like good looking for someone in 1935 movies, if that makes any sense to you. And I'm not disparaging older actors and actresses, but they had a look to them. It was more of a Hollywood look than like to me, like Betty Davis wasn't hot. She looked good on the screen. Like she worked on the screen. Like, that's kind of that. These women are, whoa.
Yeah.
Whew. I don't know how well they worked on screen, but they worked on me, They
worked well on your eyes.
They did. I think they worked well on you, too. So
they did, yeah.
Karloff, like, he's after Marion Marsh, the blonde gal. And she is of a good family.
Yes.
And if he can get her into his family, if he can convince her to marry him, that's a powerful marriage of two powerful families. He wants to have this happen. There's a problem, Mr. Ben Harley. What's the problem?
She has a military boyfriend.
Soldier guy.
And her dad is the colonel.
Yes.
So the colonel, pretty much what he says goes with her. Like it's a time where it's like, no, you'll marry this person.
Right.
And this is how it's going to be.
Right. And but now here, let's be frank here, though. Now, there's nobody thinks that Marion Marsh, Thea, there's nobody thinks that Thea really wants to marry Gregor. So there's no problem there. It's not. It's clear that Gregor has it bad, really bad for her. She's like playing like a harp or something and singing, and he's just oogling. He's got his legs spread apart, kind of like oogling at her and stuff. I'm like, ooh, yikes, Karloff.
And her boyfriend is not happy.
No, he knows.
And he keeps making a point of letting everybody know how unhappy he is about it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So we're set up here, and that's it. So this is where we're at. Now here comes the big grand scheme that Gregor, the mean twin, has. So he's going to off Anton and then take his place. We've seen this before in a lot of these movies and stories.
Anton has such a better character, and people like him, and he believes that he will be able to marry her as Anton.
Yes.
And
what did he just do? He just said he was going to give up all of his power to his brother.
Yeah.
So he's going to kill his brother, take his place, and still keep all the power, and marry Thea. So it is a good plan. I say, if I was a dick,
solid plan.
It's a good plan. It's a real good plan. I like that plan. It's except we got one little issue about portraying the brother. Gregor, if he wants to portray Anton, he's got to do one thing. He's got to keep his arm motionless.
Yes.
That's a great little plot point throughout the entire movie, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so, because it's like he actually like practices trying to hold it, like, you know, and it's good. Yeah.
Right. So the Mishka character, the Catherine Demille, the exotic type, the secret girlfriend, she's not happy either.
No.
She's not happy at all. Right.
She's going to tattle.
Well, that's not going to work because Gregor is going to have to take care of her. So he takes care of her and throws her down in the big pit in the black room.
Yes.
There's a pit of death. There's no gators or crocodiles. Angio did ask me. Angio said, "Well, where's the crocodile pit?" Well, we didn't have any. There's no gators or crocs, but there was a pit.
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
it was just a dry pit. That's all. But it's good enough to kill you. So, so he throws her down there, and then eventually, when he finally gets Anton to accept the role, that's all he needs. He just needs his paper signed, and he needs to make sure that everybody knows that he is handing over all of his power to Anton, and that's it. So as soon as he gets that done, he says, "Hey, Anton, let's check out the black room."
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, Anton, don't be superstitious, because the way the prophecy goes, you're the one that's supposed to kill me."
Right. So he very easily tricks Anton into going to the black room and looking down into the pit, basically hanging his face down into it, begging anyone to kick him in the butt and knock him right down
right into the pit.
Yeah, it's exactly what he gets. And it's exactly what he gets. So, of course, Gregor knocks Anton down into the pit. And then the rest of the movie, we have Gregor trying to imitate Anton. And so basically what we have here is Boris Karloff playing three roles.
Yeah.
He's playing Gregor. He's playing Anton. And he's playing Gregor trying to be Anton.
Right.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And he does a pretty good job of pulling off being Anton, but the Colonel starts to suspect some stuff, which is a really cool setup, kind of how he figures things out, too, a little bit. And the whole time, too, the Colonel's trying to set Anton up and saying, "No, you can marry my daughter. No, it'll be you, not, not her boyfriend, So you have that kind of going on, too, because the boyfriend's getting more and more upset through the whole movie. Like, he's done. He's like, I know what's up. I know what's going on, And she's like, don't worry about it. I'm not going to marry him. But the Colonel's like, this is how it's going to go. This is, So, that's when he ends up having him sign something. And that's when the Colonel catches him. Yeah,
because one's left-handed, one's right-handed, and so he's got his arm up and he can't sign anything because he can't write with his other hand, and he's trying to get him to turn around basically so he can use his crappy hand to sign real quick and put his arm back up, and he finally gets him to turn around, and then the Colonel sees it in a reflection. He sees him doing it, so he knows immediately. So basically, Karloff has to take care of him now.
Yep.
And not only does he take care of the dad and who is the colonel or whatever, but he pins the murder on the Marion Marsh's boyfriend. Yes.
Which actually was a very good. I when that was going on, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Didn't see that coming, huh?
Really? No, I was like, super dick. He is now. Like, oh my God. And it was a great plan. I mean, it doesn't take them long to convict the boyfriend, and put him in jail.
Oh, and Karloff is so smarmy through the whole thing. He just goes up there and he's like, "Oh, I can't put him into jail. I will not testify." Yeah. It's like, you don't have to. The guy's clearly going to go up the river.
Yeah,
or whatever. So
I would not want to sully his reputation. It's like oh man, he plays it so good.
Right. Seeing him be so smarmy like that, but then the comeuppance And the comeuppance is great because the comeuppance there's nobody who really gets to Gregor except the one character you don't think about that's going to get to Gregor, a dog.
A dog, yeah. And that's a huge dog. It's like, that's Anton's, actually, pal pretty much through the movie.
Well, that's the thing. So, the dog likes Anton, but does not like Gregor.
Yes,
and so
the dog knows
right.
that he is, that he killed. Well, I don't know if the dog knows he killed Anton, but the dog knows that it's not Anton.
And
he hates him.
Yep, and he just gives him away. And the thing is Anton knows the dog hates him, and he's always trying to get rid of that. He can get rid of all the people, but he can't get rid of that damn dog. You know, it's like that damn dog is always bugging him. And Harley, it's just these things in this movie I love. I just love. I mean, I'm watching this movie, and you know, at first I didn't think I'd seen this before, but I have seen this. I know I've seen this before, and I think maybe once, not a bunch of times, but once.
Okay, yeah.
God, he's so smarmy. You just can't stand him, and it's just so poetic and wonderful to see him fulfill the prophecy.
Right,
you know, basically, and you can kind of tell what's going to happen, but it's still fun. It's so much you know basically when you see like how everything is set up throughout the movie, you can kind of see the end. Like I know kind of the poetic ending this is going to have, but you don't really see how it's going to happen.
No.
And they really throw you one. When that dog is chasing Gregor around and stuff, you're just cheering that dog on like, get him.
Oh, yeah.
Know?
And that dog is persistent, too.
Yeah.
He shows up like it, because they actually almost get married. They're right about to get married, Gregor and, what's her name, Tim? I'm saying.
Thea.
Thea,
character's name. Yeah, Marion Marsh.
Yeah. You know, and she thinks it's Anton or whatever, but she doesn't want to marry him either.
Right.
You know, and then the dog shows up at the wedding and starts chasing him. And then once he tries to move or brush the dog off or push the dog off him is when he drops the right arm. Yep. And then everybody's like, wait a second, you know, then they know. Then at that point, they know. So then you have him being chased by a giant, big dog and a whole town of people. You know what I mean? Like a town of people. We're talking lots of people. You know?
This is like being in that village in Monty Python, the Holy Grail, and you're discovered to be a witch.
Yeah.
It's a witch! You know?
Exactly.
I mean, they wanted to kill this guy in the beginning of the movie. Now? I mean, it's like, oh boy, and it's sort of like at the end of Targets. It's the reverse of that, where you have this whole movie where Karloff is being Karloff, and this guy is this shooter. He's this active shooter, basically. He's picking people off and stuff. And Karloff at the end has just had enough. And he just walks up to the guy, gets shot a few times for his effort, and slaps the shit out of him. He bitch slaps him all over the place. And you're like, yeah. Remember, I stood up. It was one of the few movies I stood up and cheered. I was like, yeah. You know, and this is sort of like that. You know, it's sort of like when he moves his arm and Karloff looks up, and the town people, they look like a bunch of hungry dogs. Like,
oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
And
here's the thing, too. It's not a long film. It's a short film.
No.
As a matter of fact, this review's been longer than the movie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yes, and so it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not too short. It's not too long. It gets to the meat of the situation. It pulls you through, and it's just a really good story, good revenge story. It's basically like a gothic psycho thriller.
Yeah,
you know, like a gothic good twin, evil twin type movie, and. Man, is it played well. God, it's played so well. And if you ever needed proof that Karloff was more than the monster.
Yeah, this is definitely one that would prove a point. I mean, I think he's great in it. Like, I mean, as Gregor, because he's not a nice guy.
Right.
But when Anton shows up, Gregor's actually kind of nice to him and happy to see him. And it's kind of like, you're like, this guy's already kind of unhinged, you know? I mean, so... I liked that part of it. And then he kept trying to sweep everything under the rug when Anton would like, well, why are these people? What's going on? Oh, don't worry about it. Come here, brother. You know, and it's like, so, you know, I just found his character to be, smarmy, but like just good too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the acting was so good. And 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 then once he did turn on his brother, stuff, you're like, this guy is a jackass.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
And I enjoyed it. I thought that was good. Like, I thought his acting was great in the whole thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a tremendous movie. It's a tremendous performance. I think the whole movie is full of tremendous performances.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that the story is incredible. I think it's a great little story. And what I like about it is it doesn't overstay anything. It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't, like, when they switch characters, you get that kind of like that yearning, like, oh my God, it's like it's the suspense of it all. It's like it doesn't take you so far that it's excruciating. It keeps you very interested though in seeing what's going to happen next. It keeps the plot moving, and it's so satisfying. I mean, the end is so fulfilling and satisfying, and that's good too. It's very good.
Yeah,
and again, you kind of see the basic gist of how it's all going to play out. But when you see it play out, it's very clever because they still find a way to surprise you a little bit, Yeah. And kudos to everyone involved. The movie was directed by Roy William Neill. Now he did a lot, if not all, of the Nigel Bruce, Basil Rathbone, Sherlock Holmes movies.
Yeah.
So he did a lot of those. He also directed Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's good.
And I know I saw a thing, a little bit of Joe Dante was doing a review of this movie on YouTube. They had a little thing on that, and he was saying how much he enjoyed or loved the movie, and the director, and that director was a big influence on him.
Yeah, yeah. Too. Well, those Sherlock Holmes movies are really good too.
Yeah, for sure.
They're excellent movies, and Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman's a good movie. It was edited bad because of it's
sure, but it's got its moments.
There's problems in post on that. But anyway, so Harley, for our purposes today, I'm going to give The Black Room a grape ape up to the rafters. We don't do that very often, but that's where it's going. It's not tickling the rafters; it broke up in the rafters. Yeah, it broke a light up there.
I think I'm going to do the same with you, buddy, because I really enjoyed this movie a lot, like a lot. I'm glad it was short. I'm not trying to be like that, but I just think with it only being an hour and 8 minutes or whatever, there wasn't a lot of junk going on.
Yeah, not a lot of fat.
Straightforward. It was straightforward. It just, because a lot of times you and I will talk about it, like, this could have been 15 minutes shorter. It was a little bit. And I think a lot of times that hurts these movies because you got a lot of just junk that you don't need. And this didn't have it. It just was like lean, mean, fight machine.
Right. And for its time, this was a horror film.
Yeah.
It's oozing with atmosphere. It opens up with a bunch of ravens and blackbirds and things. You know what I mean? So it's very gothic, very just
I love those little sets. Oh, my God. Those, I don't know what it is about those like little cemetery sets with the
painted background.
It's a fake, the fake background.
Yeah.
But it's just so good the way this just, I don't know. It's
artistic. It's fun. It's style. You like the style. I do too. Yeah, absolutely. So.
Big time. So.
Very good. Well, 2 giant grape apes up to the rafters for the Black Room. Very good.
Rafters, brother.
Very good. Did not expect that.
Lights.
Yes, absolutely. Did not expect that. I expected us to like it, but not this much. I didn't even expect to like it. And I've seen it before, but the old Karloff movies that aren't the Universal monster movies can get a little jumbled up in my memory banks. Because they're good, but they're sort of programmers.
Yeah.
They're kind of quickies, and stuff. And some of them are just very, very good. This movie feels like not like a quickie. This feels like it's an A movie, an A picture. Even if it is a B movie, it's an A. It feels like an A picture. So
it does. Yeah, for sure.
It's like it's an A from us, that's for sure. So, I don't know what we're doing next week, Mr. Ben Harley, but I don't know if we ought to have brothers killing each other now. That's not.
Yeah, right.
We got brothers, and it's not that we're going to kill them. I'm concerned they're going to kill us.
Yeah, me too. I know mine tried a few times over the years, I think.
Right. I might have thought of it.
But I'm not sure if he was really trying, but,
Right.
Yeah,
my brother might do just to put me out of my misery. Or maybe he just likes Angio so much. He's like, 19 years is long enough. It's long enough.
You suffered enough, woman. You suffered, woman.
That's a mercy killing here. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Right.
All right, Mr. Ben Harley. Let's see. Until next week, all you deep thinkers out there, be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll be back here next week. So stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com. your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.